Could someone give us some context in here, please?
Are you tired of comic books being too political? Are you sick of the SJW agendas and the woke messaging that lurks behind the covers of all of your favorite Marvel titles these days? Yeah, I know how it is. Well, come with me into my time machine as we go back to when Marvel was all about fantasy and adventure and big muscly heroes in tight spandex with big muscles and big crotches and mustache twirling villains. Let's get some context. My time machine is a dryer. Come on, it's bigger on the inside. Who designs these fucking time machines? Let's start off with the Sentinel of Liberty himself, Captain America. In his very first issue, which was published before the US entered World War II, Cap punches Hitler in the face. These first issues have it all, the suspense and action we crave, and none of the political crap we don't. It's got war, it's got the military kicking ass, it's got heroes going overseas to fight Germans. Cap and Bucky rescue a rich guy who's trying to give a lot of money to war bonds. Wait. None of that's political, right? I don't think that's political. Are things like the government going to war and creating a super soldier to fight their battles, is that political? Maybe a bad example. I think I wasted a round of time travel with this one, but it's okay. Onward. Jumping forward 3 decades to 1971, and we find Spider-Man. You may have heard of him. He's the hot new hero in the House of Ideas. In Amazing Spider-Man number 97, Peter Parker finds his friend and roommate Harry Osborn, son of his nemesis Green Goblin, popping pills and behaving erratically. After a knockdown drag-out brawl with the Green Goblin, Peter returns home again to find that Harry has overdosed. See, Harry Osborn had been overwhelmed by pressure from his cruel father and jealous that his girlfriend Mary Jane had a friendly moment with Peter. Harry succumbed to a very common illness called addiction. Now, this isn't political because it's just about drugs and drug abuse, but I guess it kind of is a social message, right? I mean, they ran the issues that contain the story without the Comics Code seal of approval, which means that they chose to forego the code's illusion of authority in order to push an agenda? I never really considered that, but when you think about it, drug abuse is a political issue as well. President Nixon enacted the failed war on drugs, which makes that an inherently political position. Well, this is awkward. Okay, that's a couple of false starts, but let's jump back into the normal time machine, and I'll show you some real no-nonsense comics from Marvel. Like in 1977, Howard the Duck was seeing his day in the sun. In Howard number 8, we follow Howard and his lady friend Beverly as Howard campaigns for president. Oh no. Howard meets with corporate lobbyists trying to buy his favor. He dumps unrecyclable trash on the doorstep of the corporation that produced the trash. And he announces his policy idea to allow military to buy bigger, better guns by forcing their soldiers to live in caves. It's all harmless, apolitical stuff here without an ounce of satirical commentary. Man, I miss these kinds of books. Alright, well that's one. We're gonna hit a stride, let's go. You guys ever heard of Iron Man?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
But at one point, Tony Stark was also a raging alcoholic. Overwhelmed by the burden of being the corporate head of Stark International and the hero in the iron suit, the issue begins with Tony drinking straight from a bottle as he wonders if he should just give up being Tony to be Iron Man full time. Eventually, Tony Stark realizes that he's putting people in real danger by operating the suit while drunk, and he hands the mantle of Iron Man over to James Rhodes, the future war machine. So what we have here is not political, it doesn't serve an agenda. Wait, is this forced diversity? It isn't a social commentary on anything except how dangerous alcoholism can be. So it is a social commentary then? I can't keep making these stupid errors. The time machine runs on MAGA tears, and I'm worried that we're gonna run out of those. Let me fill up the tank real quick, and we'll be on our way.
Tri-family steal the election! The media's covering up! The Biden tri-family steal this election! The media's covering it up!
You're happy with your corner coffee shop. They want to make you drink Starbucks every day from now until forever, no matter how it tastes.
Everybody saw that new Mutants movie, right? I think it was the highest grossing superhero film ever. Anyway, well, that's based on a comic within the greater X-Men lore, and focused on a new crop of young mutants. And mutants, as we all know, are an allegory for civil rights, gay rights, and trans rights. Really, any group or individual who feels outcast for their innate characteristics, and feels their right to exist peacefully and equally is not being recognized. But ignore that for just a moment because it's inconvenient to my narrative. New Mutants number 45. A young man named Larry discovers he's a mutant, but he hides it at school. And he even makes jokes about mutants with other kids. Before the issues end, however, Larry has committed suicide. This issue might seem like it has some message about tolerance or those different from you and the social pressures that people can feel when they're alienated, but it's not about that. Look over there, it's Tim Pool.
It's definitely not me. I think it's everybody else.
Climbing back into the time machine, we head off to the Great White North. This is not as cool as a DeLorean. Alpha Flight is a Canadian superhero team assembled by the Canadian government, but governments aren't political, so this one's okay. Nothing political about government, right? Especially the Canadian government. I mean, come on, what do? Like ride mooses and politely ask for permission to bomb children in the Middle East? Pfft, barely counts as political. Like, just a little bit. Anyway, Alpha Flight number 106 sees the badass, super fast, flying mutant named North Star come out as gay after he adopts a baby born with AIDS. God damn it, really? You've got to be kidding me right now. Hold on, I need to fill up the tank again.
And if you are not willing to fight, then damn it, you are willing to lay down and let these crooks run America. I can't live like that!
You know what? It's on. It's on. This is what they wanted for. This is what they pushed for. And all these 4 years, they just push and poke, and nothing's gonna happen, right? We're just gonna lay down and take it like dogs, like get kicked like they've been kicking us. Let one motherfucker come in my face.
Alright, we got her all topped off now. Jumping back over to our Merry Mutants, where things are never political and never have social commentary, we open up Uncanny X-Men number 303, in which the young sister of Colossus, Illyana Rasputin, is infected with a virus that attacks her immune system, causes lesions, and to which there is no cure. The legacy virus, as it's called, only contributes to the hysterical, irrational fears of mutants by the world at large. And as Illyana succumbs to the virus and her friends and family wonder how could such a thing have happened to her, you may begin to see some direct allegory for the AIDS epidemic that was coincidentally raging at the time. Ignore that. Don't think about it. Don't connect your empathy with Illyana to those who died in an almost identical way in real life. Just put it out of your mind and enjoy this story for the fun adventure that it is. To the time machine thing. Let's check in on the Jade Giant, the Green Goliath, the monstrous hero with zero social messaging. Incredible Hulk number 420, nice. sees Bruce Banner in control of his condition, which was caused by an allegory for the atomic bomb. I mean, no, it wasn't. Bruce confronts protesters at a clinic for an autoimmune disease, who are ignorantly demanding a little girl with the autoimmune disease shouldn't be allowed into school. Protesters. Angry protesters. Being ignorant while demanding absurd things because they don't understand medical science. Seems familiar. No, not familiar. This type of thing only happens in comics, not real life. Bruce Banner's wife Betty works at a suicide hotline, and a man named Chet calls to say he's thinking of ending his life due to shame and fear of having contracted the same disease. Betty tries to help the man, but the issue ends with Chet parking his car on a train track and telling Betty her voice was a good final voice for him to hear. Now, it might be tempting to conflate this story with some real disease that was such a political and social flashpoint in the 80s and 90s, but trust me, it's not about that. And it's not about suicide and... Nope, not at all. To the time machine. Hold up, I gotta grab some stuff out of here. In late 2001, the world was exactly the same as it was earlier in the year. Nothing dramatic had happened to cause superheroes to dip their toes into the murky waters of social messages and political agendas. So let's swing back to Spidey and see what he was up to. Oh boy. The story starts with Spider-Man looking down in shock at Ground Zero shortly after the North Tower of the World Trade Center has collapsed in the wake of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. And he finds himself unable to speak. He's unable to comprehend what's happened. He rushes into the cloud of smoke and debris, seeing policemen, firefighters, and superheroes all digging for survivors. Even villains like Magneto and Dr. Octopus are there. Even Doctor Doom is watching. And he sheds a tear at the inhumanity of it all. But as we all know, 9/11 was not a political thing, nothing to do with politics or our disastrous foreign policy, nothing to do with kicking off a march to decades of war that cost millions of civilian casualties and trillions of dollars. Nope. 9/11 was a fluke, no cause, no consequence, nothing to see here, folks. That same year, Captain America, remember him? He's a apolitical hero from World War II. Well, the story in Volume 4, Number 1 of his series starts on September 11th, 2000. Oh, come on! Moving on, we go forward in the time stream a few years, and we get to Astonishing X-Men number 51, in which Northstar, if you'll recall, came out as gay previously, marries his longtime boyfriend Kyle. This was the first gay wedding depicted in Marvel Comics, and a huge step for representation in a title that is totally about the strength of diversity, the beauty of our differences, and the importance of civil rights for everyone. Whoa, what did I just say? Jesus, they warned me this time machine might screw with my head, but that was weird. I'll edit it out later. Now we take a trip to over a decade later, and we find Ms. Marvel on Election Day. Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, is a Muslim American teenage girl of Pakistani descent, and she realizes that her town in New Jersey is being overtaken by Hydra. And Hydra, as you may know from the films, is a stand-in for Nazis. But Nazis aren't political. Right? And Muslim Americans have also not been politicized? Is that right? I'm so confused. But this was in 2016, which is the year that Marvel started forcing diversity in social messages and stuff like that, right? As we've seen, this type of stuff did not exist in Marvel Comics prior to 2016. Alright, one more because my brain is a mess trying to make sense of this. Time travel really fucks with your perception of what's a socio-political agenda and what's not. Like right now, I feel like everything we've looked at was either social commentary, political commentary, or both. But that can't be true because all of my favorite YouTubers, content creators, streamers, they all said this is a recent thing that's killing comics now. If this had been going on all along, shouldn't Marvel be dead by now instead of a leader in the industry and mega billionaire film producer? The only way this makes sense is if all of the SJW woke agenda stuff I've consumed for years on YouTube isn't true. And that's impossible because I am incapable of watching content that is deceptive. It's literally impossible that I've been fed bullshit because those guys always say they're telling me the real truth that the media won't tell me. So yeah, these weird thoughts about Marvel's long, well-documented history of being an inclusive, progressive company, it's all caused by time dryer stuff. This is the last one, okay? And this one will drive the final nail in the coffin of Marvel's wokeness equaling brokenness. Wait, didn't I just say that they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation now? They're not broke at all. Well, if they weren't so woke, they'd be trillionaires. So, they suck. Anyways, Champions 24 sees our young hero Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man, racing to his school just in time to be too late after a school shooter killed multiple students and took his own life. Now, this is obviously a work of fiction because this stuff just doesn't happen in real life. Seriously, name one time somebody used a gun to shoot up a school. You can't. Proof positive that Marvel has always been purely fantasy. No social messages, no political subtext, no SJW wokeness. Wait, what do those words mean? It's probably the time machine effects, but I can't think of a distinct definition for those. It feels like thought-terminating cliches that people use to avoid engaging honestly. No, that's not right. Yikes, that time machine has fucked me up. I need a nap. In all seriousness, it's time to move on. If you're one of the people who's bought into the memes and the grifters trying to sell you stuff while telling lies, I welcome you to my channel. I welcome you to watch, pay attention, learn, and let me know your thoughts in a friendly manner. I've been in comics communities as long as I can remember, and there's always been an element of toxicity and gatekeeping. But it's reached new levels of absurdity due to the many lies told by proponents of Comicsgate. These people don't care about comics. They want to have power over people. That's it. If they really read comics and understood the messages in most of them, they'd know what they're doing is wrong. There is no SJW agenda. There is no getting woke, going broke. The facts don't bear these theories out. Those comics are SJW propaganda with an agenda. We just want good stories. These are the rallying cries of sad men and a couple of super pathetic women trying to sell you their stuff or make money through outrage clicks. That is it. If I asked 20 Comicsgaters to define SJW or woke or how to spot an agenda, I'd get 20 different answers. Or I'd get one stock answer that's entirely subjective and copy-pasted nonsense. I'm asking you to do better. Be better than the outrage mongers who offer nothing to comics but bile and piss and vinegar. People who love comics look for ways to strengthen the comics community and the industry. Comics have only become more popular since Comicsgate began. It's dead. Comicsgate is over, even if they haven't realized it yet. Time to snap out of it and become a real fan. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't done so. I'd love to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please share this video with anyone who might appreciate it. Take care of yourselves and one another. Thanks to my patrons, Questing Refuge, Alex Jones, Ornithoper, Alan Schwarzweller, Trash Rat, Sean Betton, Dracoris Felving, Nathan Russell, and Rat. I truly appreciate you guys sticking with me while I've not been getting content out regularly. That's changing, and I'll be announcing some changes to Patreon tiers as well. I intend to offer you guys some cool perks. Peace.